In today's episode, we're learning that the best offense is a good defense. So let's break it down. Welcome to GhostLabs. It's good to be back in the lab after a long hiatus focusing on lore. In previous videos, we've examined how you can maximize your Starship DPS, how to unlock your ship's maneuverability, but today, we're going to learn how you can take a licking and keep on ticking. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We all play No Man's Sky in our own way, so whether you're trying to maximize the combat effectiveness of your fighter, or protect all of those contraband nip-nip buds you have stashed away in your hauler, it's time to divert all remaining power to the forward deflector array. Let's break down Starship Shield Strength. To start, let's pick the right tool for the job. Now, this particular metric can be a tough one to crack, as there isn't an obvious way forward to max this attribute on every Starship type. So choose the Starship type that best suits your playstyle. Class bonuses. As I've mentioned in previous videos, each Starship type has a specific bonus associated with it. In the case of Shield Strength, haulers are the winner. This bonus isn't a value add built into each ship organically. It's given through the class bonus. That is, the class bonus for haulers far exceeds the class bonus of any other starship. Now, I'm going to focus on S-class ships. If you have a ship that you love, but you haven't yet upgraded to S-class, well, what are you waiting for? That's step 1. Gather the nanites and upgrade that ship. It'll cost around 85,000 nanites to upgrade from C-class. For an easy way to get some nanites, check out the video linked above. Here, you can see a breakdown of the cost from class to class. Now, it should be noted that I don't have any data showing a difference between upgraded S-class ships and S-class ships found in the wild. That's not to say there isn't one. I just don't have anything meaningful on this particular data point. Now, let's take a look at the Shield Strength class bonus for each Starship type when fully upgraded to an S-class ship. A shuttle can get a bonus of between 25 and 30%. A fighter, 24 to 38%. Explorer, 30 to 40%. A hauler, 95 to 125%. An exotic, 75 to 90%. A living ship, 15 to 38%. A solar ship, 23 to 50%. And finally a sentinel ship, 20 to 35%. The ships that we're going to test today are haulers for the max stat test, an exotic ship for the most balanced stats, and finally, the sentinel ship, which seems to be the most popular currently in game. In an attempt to maximize our upgrades, I set out to find our 3 ships, hoping that for each I could find a 4-square adjacent supercharged slot layout. Unfortunately, I came up short for haulers and exotics alike. For these, though, I was able to find an L-shape and a T-shape layout. And I had an existing square layout sentinel ship, but I opted for the T-shape of the Remnant here, as its adjacency bonus would be more similar. Much the same as the other metrics we've discussed, each type of starship has its own core value and class bonus. The difference here, though, is that the default shield strength core value for all ships is 165. Bonuses are calculated using a formula seen here. So, for example, if you have an S-class solar ship that, upon generation, received a 48% class bonus, its shield strength value would be 221.4. But Ghostlight, you might be asking, why would I even bother to do the math if I can't control what class bonus my ship rolls when generated? Well, that's an excellent question, dear interloper. Well done. To that, I say, if you were on a quest to maximize your shield strength stat, you could use this formula and your new knowledge of each starship type's class bonus range to seek out a starship with a max stat roll. Now, keeping with the solar ship for a moment, and knowing that its class bonus maxes out at 50%, you could use this formula to inform your ship hunt. But be warned, No Man's Sky has a tendency to round down, so finding a perfect roll may be a bit of a Sisyphusian task. Anyways, I don't have the patience for that, so let's push forward with what we've got. Now, let's talk upgrades. I've come to learn from your feedback here on the channel, not everyone likes to use exploits, and I get it. You're a purist, and you want to make an honest run of the game. Much respect. If this sounds like you, well, you'll want to hit every space station you encounter. So go to this guy and seek out 3 S-Class Starship Shield upgrades. These types of upgrades are pretty straightforward, offering a 30% shield strength boost per module. If dropped into a supercharged slot, you'll get a boost up to 38% per module, and that's 114% overall. But if you're like me, and you don't mind playing a little dirty, well, head on over to a pirate space station and go to this guy. You'll want to seek out 1 X-Class Starship Shield module. Then, using the portable refiner glitch, linked above, go on and duplicate yourself a few dozen stacks of these. Now, these X-Class modules are a gamble, offering anywhere between 7.5% and 38% shield strength boost. The tricky and time-consuming part of this process is repeatedly installing and deleting these modules until you find 1 max stat module. Once you have 1, package it up and duplicate it twice more. Bam, 3 max stat X-Class modules. Dropping these into supercharged slots give you a boost of up to 47% per module, and that's a whopping 141% overall. Finally, if you saw my hidden bonus video linked above, you may remember that installing the Null bobblehead adds an additional 0.5% stat boost, and while that might not seem like much, it could be the difference between finding safe refuge in a space station and a cold death in the void. Okay, so also remember, as we install these in our ships, your results may vary, for better or worse, based on your starship's supercharged slot layout. You want to find a ship with as many supercharged slots adjacent to one another as possible. It's worth mentioning that each wall shared by a supercharged slot gives around a 2.5 additive increase to shield strength. Though your results may vary, your loadout will end up being the determining factor. And just to be extra confusing, when placing your deflector shield into a supercharged slot, you'll find the bonus here has diminishing returns as your overall shield strength value increases. Well, let's get to testing. So, here's the plan. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to take each ship up in 2 different runs. The first run will be in the ship's organic state, that is, without any upgrades. And then the second run will be in its upgraded state. During each run, I'll upset the system sentinels and have them dispatch 1 sentinel interceptor to attack. Then, I'll count how many hits we get before our shields go down. It's worth mentioning that my enemy strength and space combat settings are set to standard. Now, I couldn't find any information about enemy interceptors' DPS, or damage, or firing rate. So, that's why we're just counting hits, and we'll talk about it a bit at the end of the video. Super easy, right? So let's get started. To start, let's take a look at our Sentinel ship, the XE Remnant. Now, this ship is pretty popular on the channel. It was originally posted by Hero2U, and he credits the find to Milwaukee Scott. Thanks, Scott. You can find the glyphs above if you like this ship. Using our formula, we can see that the class bonus for this ship is 32.4. Now, if we look back on the range for Sentinel ships, we'll see that the range is 20 to 35%. So this is actually a pretty good roll for this ship, even though it's pretty low in general. Now with 0 upgrades, the core value for shield strength is 203.1. So let's take her up and see how many hits it can take. Now don't worry, I'll do all the counting. So at the end of the first round, our Sentinel ship, with a shield strength value of 203.1, could handle 78 hits. Okay, let's move on to the next. Here we see our exotic ship, the Mabeau Star Sailor X. This one was also featured in a Hero 2U video, and he credits Sir Valen. Thanks, Sir Valen. For our exotic ship, we can see that the class bonus is around 82.6%, which is right in the middle of the range for this ship type. Now, in its organic state with no upgrades, this ship's shield strength is 262.1, so let's see how many hits it can take. So at the end of the first round, with no upgrades in its organic state, our exotic ship could take 103 hits. That's not bad. Now let's check out our hauler. Now for a hauler, we found Nijikuri's Deadly Triumph. This one was posted by Reddit user Draconis Rex over on the No Man's Sky Glyph Exchange subreddit. And though haulers do get the highest stat boost in the game when it comes to shield strength, this particular ship's class bonus is only around 95.9%, which is pretty low for this starship type. In its organic state without any upgrades though, it boasts a 277.8 shield strength value. So let's take her up and see what she can take. And at the end of the first round, our hauler took 102 hits, which is pretty similar to our exotic ship. Okay, round 2. For this round, we'll be upgrading each of our ships to include all 3 max stat X-Class Starship Shield modules. We'll also have this craftable C-Class module, as well as the Null bobblehead, and we'll get them in the best possible layout with the adjacency bonus. Alright, so let's get into it. Back to our first ship, our Sentinel ship, the XE Remnant. Once upgraded, it has a 339.5 Starship Shield Strength value. So let's take it up and see what she can do. Okay, at the end of round 2, the fully upgraded version of the Sentinel ship could take 194 hits. That's an increase of 149%. Moving on, back to our exotic ship. Once fully upgraded, this ship boasts a 438.1 Starship Shield Strength value. Let's see what she can do. And at the end of round 2, this ship was able to take 293 hits. That's an increase of 184%. Not bad at all. Okay, finally back to our hauler. Once fully upgraded, this ship has a Starship Shield Strength value of 464.5. So let's see what she can do. Okay, at the end of round 2, this starship was able to take 287 hits. That's an increase of 181%. So let's break it down. In the end, we saw a dramatic increase in the amount of hits each ship could take. The smallest increase was in the Sentinel ship at 149%. The largest increase was actually in our exotic ship at 184%. Interestingly enough, the hauler, which boasted the largest class bonus, came in second. Now, we could break down the reason for this, and I have a theory, but it's worth noting that our exotic ship took 293 hits, but those hits were spread out over 74 waves of attack by our Sentinel Interceptor. And interestingly enough, our hauler, though having a higher class bonus, it took 287 hits, but those hits were spread out over 38 waves of attacks from our enemy Sentinel Interceptor. So what's the takeaway? Well, it seems that even though our hauler has a higher class bonus, it's also a much larger target, making it susceptible to more frequent direct hits, which allows the enemy interceptor to enact its damage per second over a much shorter duration of time. Some other takeaways: you can use this formula to help inform your ship hunt, so you can find a ship that's both aesthetically pleasing and statistically functional. When seeking out ships, look for the best arrangement of supercharged slots. And remember the mantra: adjacency kills. And finally, try to remember that each starship type has its own range of possible class bonus. So, if you have a particular type that you like to play with, remember, it's not always possible to max out this stat, so give yourself a break and don't tear your hair out. And that's it for this video. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments below. I know you will anyways. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And as always, sweet Earth Walkers, I'll see you tonight